In recovery after suffering a bad bike crash at WTCS Hamburg in mid-July, Roksana Slupek is our guest this week, and the Polish number one shares her reflections on the highs and lows of the journey to the Paris 2024 Olympic start line. From attacks of self-doubt and depression to ultimately qualifying for her life's dream, and the harsh realities of racing on and crashing out of the world's biggest triathlon series. The 25-year-old shares an eye-opening hour of life as an elite athlete and how recent events have made her re-evaluate her attitude towards her fellow competitors on the World Triathlon Championships Series. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe to all the latest episodes, and I hope you enjoy this one. So you're back in your home, are you?
Yeah, home, but my boyfriend Seth is telling me that that's not my home anymore. And I'm always arguing, saying like, no, it is my home. And he's like, well, you can't call it like that when you spend there like 2 weeks in a year. But yeah, home is where mom is, right?
Home is where mum is.
Well, I think it's helping mentally to be with people around because obviously, like, you don't want to worry your close people. So I feel like I'm acting like everything is okay, and yeah, that helps. Sometimes you need to even lie a bit to yourself, but that's okay now.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks for agreeing to this. Yeah, I've been wanting to get you on for a while, and then it turns out that it just happens to be in the worst
Yeah, a bit bad
circumstances possible.
situation,
But
but yeah, but I hope we won't talk only about the crash. But yeah, like in general, when you texted me in the right moment, in terms of my mental state, because actually, since yesterday, I'm back in the action, like I'm not scared anymore of getting back on the bike. I think I was just in a huge shock, and then I needed athletes, especially the athletes that were there in the bike pack to talk to me and to kind of understand what happened. And
mm,
like, yeah, there is not real, cause of the crash, but that kind of helped me mentally to be like, okay, like it, it's okay. Like I will be back on the bike and I hope I won't be scared. But at first, after the crash, I just had this fear that was the fear was scaring me that I don't want to be on the bike, and I was like, I
yeah,
never felt that way. And now I'm back to being myself, thinking like I need to be on the bike as soon as is possible. Like, yeah, so that's why now I'm smiling, I'm more normal, because I think it was just too much of adrenaline and emotions, but now I'm back. I'm okay.
so that feeling lasted just what, like 24 hours or a bit more of being all over the place and
Yeah, like so it was also like everything was so new for me because it wasn't a normal crash. It was like through the barriers, not like sliding or anything. And I was like so shocked, and my concussion symptoms appear like over 24 hours after. So actually in Hamburg, they didn't check my head in the hospital because I was saying like I just can't move my shoulder, my arm, and like some fingers on my hand. But like I was telling them, like my head is okay. And then the next day, I couldn't look into the light. Like everything started hurting. Like I
mm,
couldn't move my neck, and I was like, oh wow. But thanks God, my coach Paulo was there, and I don't know if he has experience with that, but he told me like, Roxana, you have so much adrenaline, like you are not feeling probably what's going on. And he actually told me to organize my trip to Poland as soon as possible because every hour is gonna be worse. And he was actually right. So
and
yeah.
Paolo isn't regularly at the races this season, right? So if he hadn't been there, you'd have been kind of even more stuck.
That's the hard situation now, and I think my federation is working very hard right now because it could happen in China, it could happen in a way worst place. And if not Paulo and my cousins, like such a coincidence, I had cousins in Hamburg, and they found the hospital, they found my bags. They like actually my cousins sneak into the hospital because on emergency you are not allowed. And he like opened the door and throw his phone to me because he saw me like, a bit, and just scream like too free, the code, that to have like any information from me. So actually I also had this, I reflect on that it's not a news, but we have such a good team around us as a athletes. Like if we are lucky with a lot of supporters, but on the start line or in your biggest crises with injuries or now accident, at the end you are alone. No matter who is around you, like you need to deal with all of that alone. So this hours in the hospital that I had, like, no phone, no people around me, was kind of crazy. I think that actually made the situation worse because I was just with my thoughts and with like seeing this last 2 seconds and the barriers. So that was crazy. But yeah, my federation, I think they are very nervous and they know that it can't happen anymore, that the athlete is completely alone.
Obviously, shout out to the cousin then for the phone drop.
Yeah.
What? How long had you been in there at that point?
So that's another crazy thing because I arrived there probably around 8 p.m. and I was in my cycling shoes and race suit, also kind of freezing, At 2 a.m. at night, they said, okay, ciao. So my cousins brought shoes, clothes from their home in Hamburg. But yeah, I would be left like this, And Paulo, a few hours earlier, Paulo found my bag and he brought it to the hospital so I could have phone to call the taxi. But if not, then I would be just cycling shoes, my cleats with broken scapula, walking in the city of Hamburg. Can you imagine that? No, that's actually crazy. Oh,
Was it the same incident that Carolina Velasquez was in? It was the same moment.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But like, so that's why I said like I try to know from other. Oh, sorry, my dog. Can you hear her?
No.
Ufi. Okay, then no. So Carolina, I think she crashed like in front of me, but it didn't make me crash. Like when I remember her laying on the ground, she was like probably 20 meters or something ahead. So when we were analyzing how it happened, because it was the widest part of the course, and like I was going very fast behind Spivey and Kate Wolf chasing the pack, but we actually got there and the pack was huge and the barriers were on the both sides. And I think that was the moment that they slowly got narrower before the turn. So when probably Carolina, for some reason, like something happened and, was about to crash and people started moving and they just smashed me into the barrier. So this is what I remember, that I'm like, it wasn't a risky situation. It wasn't technical section. Like I was not expecting any danger at all. And it happened like 2 seconds that I was like pushed to the barrier. So that's why it was scary. And
Yeah.
non-Stanford was close to that place. So I also asked her to tell me what she saw, and she said that she saw the barrier flying out into the air. So that also made me feel like, like what is happening with me right now is very, very fortunate. Like I will be okay, in 2 months probably, but
Mm.
it could be like way worse.
So you had no time to react to what suddenly happened. One minute you're smashing along at 40, 50 kilometers an hour, catching the pack, and the next
Exactly.
there's something in front of you and you're just heading into the barrier.
Yeah. Like I said, I never experienced anything like that because yeah, I slide in a race twice, I think, in my life because of the rain and someone crashing ahead, whatever. But it just feels different. Like you're, yeah, like sore, a bit shocked or something. But what I remember is also someone from, yeah, some medical, like talking to me, like, trying to calm me down. And I was just screaming and couldn't stop screaming. Like I wouldn't have connection with my mouth, my brain, And I think this is just a huge shock that you are like screaming, but like I couldn't stop. And then again, like when I talked to other athletes, they told me that the rest of the bike, everyone was just super nervous. Some people just gave up and stayed on the back, didn't try to fight for the position because, yeah, I think some, like a lot of people that were very close to me, they just heard this, what was happening. So yeah, like actually I'm also like appreciating how much support I got from other athletes because I really needed to hear a few opinions, like how they saw that, and not to be nice to me, just for my brain, my mental, that I would be back on the bike without fear,
Yeah.
like yeah, yeah.
And Carolina Velasquez, the Colombian athlete, in a similar situation, I guess. It sounds like Diego Moya helped her out massively in terms of like having to pack up her room and get the bike where it needed to be and all of that kind of stuff that you just don't ever
Yeah.
appreciate what's going on in the background when, there's still a race going on and there's two athletes waiting to get in ambulances to go to the hospital.
Yeah, exactly. And also, pretty quick, Kenji Nina appeared there. I think he was very close. So I was also, again, I would say extremely lucky because he called right away my boyfriend Seth and my coach Paulo. So Paulo ran over the course to be there as soon as possible. Yeah, and about Carolina, there was a moment in the hospital that we were just laying in the beds in the corridor, like it is on emergency, I guess. And someone moved us next to each other, and that was, you know, I don't want to call it this way, but that was just so good to be together, to cry together, like, yeah, like also around her there was so much blood, so it was scary, and she was alone, and yeah, like it was a very tough moment for us both, but thanks God, at least we were together, to talk to each other, and yeah.
And you have a broken shoulder blade?
Yeah, shoulder blade, and yeah, and just now we are about to check the muscles around that because this is not what they check in the hospital. Yeah.
So, what is a best case scenario for you, do you think, as far as getting back
Um,
to?
the yeah, now it's also, also a lot of advices from all of fans that are physios or have a friend of a friend of a friend, but they said like around 8 weeks of no training. And we need to repeat the scan in a week to see if for sure surgery is not needed. Because also, I don't know these words in English, but also my shoulder is probably a little bit moved, and yeah, it might. I don't want to even think about that. I just hope, with exercises and good rehab, everything is gonna be okay. So, yeah, the worst scenario is surgery. The best, just 8 weeks of um, rest and rehab, and I'm gonna be back back in the game. Yeah. What also is super cute from a lot of athletes. They are texting me that you will rock it again. So yeah, the rock it and you rock things make different sense now to me. Like it's cool.
So you should have been going back to Girona.
Yeah, I'm trying not to plan too much, for now to
Mm.
not get disappointed, but I would like to be back in Girona sometime in August, when at least, if I can start already doing some trainer or run walks or whatever, like I think I would like to go back there.
Yeah. So, and which bit of Poland are you? Are you in like Warsaw or?
How to tell you? You probably know Poznań, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like around 2 hours from Poznań. Yeah, I'm like more or less in the center, but yeah, closer to the sea.
So a good place to recover. That Instagram post was a bit of a shocker. I literally only just saw it before we started this call, and
Yeah.
that was, yeah, definitely not the rocket that we're used to seeing.
Yeah, like you know, after this happened again, like a lot of people just had no clue what happened, and I was getting like phone calls and messages, but that was the moment that I couldn't look really into my phone too much. Like it was hurting my eyes. So I really like tried to write this post. Like it took me quite a long time because also like I couldn't, I didn't know what to say, and also in one and I wanted to like to say what happened. In another hand, I just didn't want to think about that.
Mm,
But like yeah, like I think my fans, let's call that, and friends, they deserve the information. So I made this post, and also I think I'm always super honest, even more in Polish when I can use my language.
mm,
And I wanna like it was very difficult for me, but that's the part of the sport. And also I felt bad that crashes in races, they seem to be super normal. And I think like when I hear someone crash and I don't know this person too well, I'm not like thinking about like, oh, it's a big deal. Like I more think like, yeah, okay, this happens, almost at every race.
yeah.
But only
I
when
hope they're
it's
okay. I'm not thinking about
yeah,
everything else that's
yeah.
going on
But
with
you are
them.
not thinking like how they will deal with that mentally, if it's really bad, if it was a bad crash or no bad, because of course like also not all of them are recorded.
Mm,
So yeah, so I was feeling bad that I had this mindset too, when someone crashed, like, oh yeah, it's gonna be okay, until you see some photos of crazy bruises and blood. But now I'm thinking that in my case, it was even more than what happened to my body. Like I said, I think I'm super fortunate. But mentally, it was such a bad moment that, from like, I love triathlon so much. And just a year ago, my biggest life dream came true. And at that moment, I was thinking, never ever again on the bike. No way. So that was
crazy.
crazy. And I think it's okay that I'm emotional and honest, and I said it how I felt it, without, like I said, at first I was thinking to just say I had a crash, I will be fine, that's all. But I was going through some tough moments also in the sport area, and I was very open about that. And I saw how many people benefit from that, because you don't often hear from athletes what they really feel.
Mm,
So I just decided to to be like that, like to say exactly what I feel, because now we talk and you see that I'm telling you I wanna be on the bike, and the crash happened just a few days ago. So like maybe, maybe someone will one day see that and think like, oh, this girl also had this fear, but that doesn't mean anything.
yeah.
So yeah.
I remember it was just ahead of Hamburg. I happened to see Sophie Alden's crash, and I don't know how long ago it was, but it was definitely, I'm sure it was a couple of years ago. And she head firsted into a barrier over the top. What sounds like a kind of similar to you, but shared experience of getting over something like that is really
Yeah,
important.
yeah, definitely. And I feel like if if there is something like talent, whatever definition of that it is, I think I have talent to like gain experience from other people. This is how I actually think like achieve the Olympic level way quicker than other athletes, in terms of how many years you are in sport. And I think this was because I gained so much experience from my triathlon squad, from my teammates. like a lot from my boyfriend Seth, that is only 2 years older than me, but I think 10 years longer in triathlon. And yeah, like I feel like sharing experience not only about training, racing, and high performance, but also about like how to overcome the issues, the mental issues, the issues like injuries is super super important. And I feel like our triathlon family is so good at that. Like we are rivals, but the amount of support and tips and advices we share between each other is just like I can't be sure, but I think there are no many sports that are like that. That the community is this good. Like it's incredible.
And your training group is with Miriam Casillas and Taylor Spivey and Yuko Takahashi, and they were all the
Yeah.
people that you were essentially like in that group hammering after the chasers with, right? You all kind of came out of the water at a very similar time, so you're looking around, seeing familiar faces, and thinking, right, let's get at this, and then
Yeah, yeah. Actually, when I think about the race, once like I had a terrible swim. Also, you know, I wasn't thinking about that until now we talk about that. But the first buoy was also probably one of the worst in my life. I was under the water, probably without exaggerating it, probably like 5, 6 seconds just under the water, trying, not swimming, just trying to
Jesus.
get some air like crazy. But then when I was like running with my bike already out of T1, I saw Taylor Spivey, Emma Jeffcoat, and I was like, okay, such a good swimmers and bikers are with me. So the swim was crazy. I already kind of I tend to be very hard on myself. So it was already like, okay, even the best swimmers were struggling that day.
Hmm.
And another for like, okay, I'm good. We are getting there, with this cyclist. Then Kate Wolf passed us, and I was again like, okay, here we go. I'm back in the game. So, yeah, it just also with the crash, I was going through different processes, like at first shock, then the first thoughts were like, oh my gosh, that could be such a good race. Then talking to Kenji, like how this arm looks like, and he said like, oh, maybe it's dislocated. So then I was already thinking, okay, in 1 week, European Chaps in Melia, I will be okay there. Like if
No.
it's just dislocated, I will be okay. And then the rest of the story. So then you change your thoughts from thinking about racing next week to like how much I will lose. And that I just announced the race for Super Try.
Mm.
And I think first time in my life I kind of believed in myself to do something cool, nice at European champs. So all of these things were like putting me in a mental hole for a moment. But yeah, yeah, then the rest, like then I changed my mindset, and now I'm happy that I'm healthy now, talking to you, and everything is gonna be okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
so yeah.
So let's reflect a bit on last year then and everything that got you to that point, because like you said, it was a life dream just getting there to finish 13th. Incredible
What
result. Like,
crazy.
so I guess end of 2023, what was still, I think at that point, a bit of a dream, but getting closer, right? And then it was all about grinding, just so many start lines, so many,
Yeah.
and the results started ticking in. It was big Conti Cup wins, and um,
Yeah, big Conti caps. I like it. I like it that you you call it this way.
for you, for particularly for you at that particular moment though as well, right? Where the points have to come and you got to find them, and if you're gonna do those
Yeah.
Conti Cups, then coming away with the win is everything, right?
Yeah, well, it's a pretty huge story behind everything that happened that year and the year leading to the Olympics. I'm not sure how much time we have, but I was in like now we have comparison, so I might say way way worse situation than I am right now because um like I couldn't deal with a lot of things, and at the end, I got depression, and I needed to, work more with psychiatrists and psychologists to fix myself. Like, I don't know how to say in English, but not really my body. But
Yeah.
also around that time, I had injuries that until today I don't know what was happening. But both my knees were hurting so much, and I couldn't train. We try everything, and the qualification was like slipping away, so probably that also had a like effect on what was happening with my mind at that time. But yeah, like yeah, I'm sorry, it's sometimes when I think about that, it's still a bit difficult. But that was the moment. There was a moment that I just knew I'm not gonna go to the Olympics. Like, I remember this, postponing flight tickets to, I think, Korea World Cups or something, like still thinking that I will be able to go and race, and then the final moments that I need to start canceling everything. And yeah, and it was brutal. I was
Because
also
of the
in,
injury.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Right.
yeah, because of injury. And I was in Fontrome at that time, and my coach Paolo unfortunately left. I don't know if there was a race or he wasn't there, but there was another Polish coach that worked with Paolo at that moment. And one day he told me, like, also, like, kind of in between sentences, Roxana, like, you need to see a doctor, like, the mental one. So at that time, I looked at him and I said, like, oh, no, 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 you saw me in a bad moment, but I'm totally okay. I'm just sad and stuff like that. But then there were a few situations that just made me realize, like, I really need help. So that was the beginning of the worst period in my life, actually. And
Is this
sport
like
was,
mid 2023 then, or before?
yeah, before 2020, like 2022, 2023, like the final period of collecting points for Olympics. So that's why I said, like, I knew. Oh, I'm sorry. That it just I'm not gonna qualify. There is no way, because like there won't be enough races, But like I was about to say, that time in my life, the at some moment sport wasn't important anymore at all, I like, obviously, the Olympics, I was super sad, but a bit after that, it didn't matter anymore. Like, I was just yeah, like, I would say, like, mentally sick, that
Mm.
I stopped caring about. I I knew that it's very bad, because um I'm one of these athletes that are very, like, strict, hard on myself. I always do whatever is in the plan, and like, I don't need to look for any motivation. I'm very motivated, but at that time I was just empty, like, even when I could already start training, I remember moments like driving to the pool like 40 minutes in my city because it's far, getting to the pool, looking at this, and just, having a panic attack or something, and just,
Just going
yeah,
like, why
like,
am I doing this? Or
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know.
And I think, like, yeah, and it wasn't connected in the sport at that time, but just when I know how to describe that, because this is the conversations that I needed to have with psychiatrists and during the psychotherapy, or whatever you call that.
Mm.
But I just knew that I need help, and I wanted to get help, because that's the important moment in this process, that you need to say, like, yeah, okay, I want this, like, because I'm here. When I'm talking about that, I also mean that sometimes you need to take medication for that, and I think that's kind of scary, especially when you are, like, tough athlete that is always doing everything alone. Like, I was always very independent, and then to think that I need help like this, it was like no way. So I of course said like, no, I don't need that. And there was, I think, the moment that uh, I went back and I bought the medication, was this panic attack at the pool when I called my boyfriend Seth. And like it took a few minutes, then I was again okay. But that day in the evening, first time I heard my boyfriend, kind of crying, I would say, that he was super worried. He can't do anything and he just hears my panic attack on the phone. So yeah, like I'm sorry, but it's hard. But just at that moment, I was like, I'm hurting my closest people, and I just don't wanna do that. Also, that's why I left Font-Romeu, because Seth was still fighting for Olympic qualification, and I knew that, like having someone like me at that time in the house was like not putting him in the right state to fight for Olympics. So, yeah. Also, yeah, like those are like hard stuff. But when things like that are happening, I was like so embarrassed, to the point that I was embarrassed in front of my boyfriend to look at me like this.
Mm.
So yeah, there are like these hard topics in the sport, because another thing that I'm thinking in my mind, what I would like to live with, opening so much right now in front of you and athletes that would listen to that. But like I said, I thought that I'm tough, that I will deal with everything alone, and like medication, like no, no way.
Mm.
And then when I talked to the doctor, I said like, oh, and by the way, like I need to check if I can take it. I'm professional athlete. Is it like something with anti-doping rules? And he answered like, oh yeah, like yeah, you need to check, but I have currently 3 Olympians on this. And I think, like this one sentence actually at that time helped me so much, because I was like doubting myself, if I should be the athlete, if I can't deal with some stuff like that. And like I said, the cause of these issues weren't only sport, but at the end it's 99% currently of my life. So when these things were happening, I also remember texting my coach in one of worst moments, just saying, asking if he thinks I'm in the right place, because yeah, that's also a good and nice thing to say about my coach Paulo, because he's often like I would call it emotionally cold, but
But
at that
wise.
moment, um sorry, why?
But wise. He's a wise. He's
Yeah,
wise.
yeah, yeah, wise, wise. Yeah, of course. And I had this feeling of like kind of getting crazy, that I don't know if I'm thinking correctly, right, or I'm like, just it was a weird feeling. So I asked him, and I knew that Seth, my parents, my friends, they would always say something to cheer me up, and I needed to really know if I'm in the right place, or maybe it's just not for me. So Paul, at that time, I knew that Paulo is the only one person that is gonna really say the truth. Like he would tell me if he thinks, Roxana, just yeah, maybe time to move on and do something different in your life. So yeah, when I heard that other Olympians might be struggling with their mental health this much, and then my coach is telling me like, you are in the right position, like you are, like that just made me um probably believe again a bit that I'm not that crazy. There is nothing super wrong with me. Obviously, it was at that moment, but you know what I mean. Like
Mm.
I think as a athletes with injuries or other issues, we often try to see if someone is similar or something like that. I know maybe it's a bit weird, but you just wanna be parting with someone else, like knowing that someone else
Someone
is
else has
also suffering.
gone through it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And the fact that
exactly.
so yes, Seth Ryder, USA elite athlete as well, for those who don't know, who's your partner, but to think that
Yeah,
you needed to remove yourself from him because you didn't want to negatively affect him when, yeah, there's no way he's the sort of person that would be thinking about anyone other than you at that time as well. So that shows how I guess mixed up your head had been at that time, right? And this was something
exactly.
that, so it wasn't the injury, it wasn't the Olympic thing, but was there something in there then that did the psychiatrist did talking about this help, or was it really the
Y-
medication that helped, or was it something that just you had to come out and talk to someone who you basically didn't know?
Yeah, like because I open about that like in Polish. So after that, I got so many messages from athletes and sometimes like adults athletes, like younger and older people. It also realize I realize how important it is to talk about that. But my advice when because like I can't give you advice, I'm not a doctor, but like you need to get help, and I would never, and that was my condition, that I would never start any medication without actually working on the cause, like I don't think medication is always necessary. Also, it's not like sometimes you don't need to do that, but also like being stubborn like me at the beginning, uh it's it's as well not good. But like you always need both. You need the therapy, like psychology therapy, and medication, not just medication. So this is what I would tell anyone that is asking that, just medication, you don't want to be on that to the rest of your life, obviously. So yeah.
Did that in some way then open the door to the racing that came at the start of 2024, where did you feel like whatever the weight was had been lifted a bit? You.
Yeah, I know exactly, after taking medications, obviously my coach was checking on me all the time, and I was seeing psychologist once per week, and they ask you like how you feel, because it's also a process to choose the right one. I was super lucky, and I don't know, maybe it's easier to say after a long time, but I think that I also was just in, like, it wasn't that bad, like probably what I hear or I see sometimes with other people after some bad things happens, like how they were, acting and dealing with stuff. But the thing when it started get better was that I was just feeling myself again, that for example I wanted to train, and that I was again obsessed with, like Paulo would put a training session and that there would be a range, and I would do more because I want to get back soon, like. So I felt like, okay, I'm again. And the other things that just made me sure I'm going in the right direction is just feeling normal. And this is crazy, because feeling normal was like feeling amazing, it felt like
Hmm.
it's amazing just to like wake up, do what you need to do. Like I was back feeling like, yeah, like I'm sorry, but I have no words for that, just normal. And yeah, I would like to move already from this topic, but like saying that uh, now, when like what was story the story behind before the Olympics. Now it is for me like super super special, because I got up, and then I was just very very happy, regardless if I'm racing or no racing, just just happy person, happy human, and everything started clicking. And then the qualification, I honestly sometimes I don't know how I did it. I felt like I was a robot, just like actually I feel like the all of the years that I was working with Paulo with the squad, that I in this few moments of doing racing all the time and making the qualification, I saw everything what I learned, to the point that, like I said, my coach is the one that is like very professional, sometimes emotionally cold and like strict. And I remember the race that I was uh, almost qualified in Samarkand. I needed to be fourth
Hmm.
there. I didn't know that I need to be fourth. No one told me, and I think it was good. And then I'm anti-doping with my phone, texting my coach like, Paulo, they are telling me I qualify. Like, can you check it, please? Like really, is it true? Like, what should I do? Go to, I think it was a race in somewhere in Kazakhstan, maybe somewhere else, or Cagliari. So, I was like what I was taught for years, like very professional, from one task to the other, focus on the goal. And that time the roles like changed, because it was Paulo telling me like, Roxana, first of all, congrats, I'm proud of you, amazing job. And then we started talking about next steps. So like, yeah, like everything was, that year, that moments, and then the Olympics, it was so special. And I would never say, I know that it's cool to say everything was worth it, blah, blah. I don't know if I'm ready to say that my worst moments in my life were worth that, but what I'm sure about is that the crazy qualification, and then being at the Olympics, and then a good result there, made all of this journey super special, not only for me, but for my coach, for my teammates, for my friends, and all of fans of triathlon from Poland, because that was just such a, exciting thing, to the point that our rankings are so complicated, but so many fans from Poland, nailed it. Like they know what point, when, what race, how much, because everyone was just chasing it with me. So
Yeah.
so yeah.
Except you, who didn't quite have the numbers down to know after. I
Yeah.
remember, I think I was with Leonard, right, at the Samarkand race, and we came up to you after, and I was like, right, this is gonna be a great interview because she's just qualified. Put the microphone in front of your face, and you're like, no, 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 I don't think so. Oh, I don't believe it.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah,
It's like,
and I'm
okay.
like, oh no, no, yeah. It's actually crazy. Also, this race there, and the interviews, I was like so happy you guys recorded that, because like I'm there having fourth place, so obviously I was super happy, because yeah, I wasn't at this level like consistently to not be happy with four. I was like over the moon, but my boyfriend Seth was he was very like touched and like hugging me so much and stuff, and I was like kind of making fun of him, like why he's so emotional. It's me that is emotional person normally, like why he's like that. And then he's like hugging me and saying something like, you are Olympian, you are Olympian. And I looked at him like, what? And then I'm like, like going on the carb, putting the towel on my head and saying to him, like, don't talk to me like this. Don't tell me like why you are saying that. It's for sure not true. And, so we have it recorded. Seth obviously didn't want me to post it. But it's so special for me, this moment, like, and that he was there. Yeah, it was amazing.
You can kind of look back on that person for those couple of years as like a formative thing, something that you've learned from, grown from.
Yeah, yeah, like I said, after Olympics, I'm like this year I'm full of, yeah, like reflection about what happened, how it happened, and now like I'm again in a bad situation, but like I said, it's nothing bad compared to what I went through. And I just see also that sometimes I was too tough, if I can say that. And this is also what I heard from doctors, that like the same obsessions and the way I am, it helped me achieving the to achieve the biggest dream of my life. But also some of these things that are in myself were like putting me into the bad place. So it's like it's not good or bad, but you need to, like, I think I needed some experience to just be healthier now. And like like I think you see right now that it's not that now I'm just, way stronger. And often I would say, actually, after those experience, that I feel weaker, because very easily I could, kind of be again traumatized, thinking when, where stuff were overwhelming to me and stuff. But in other hand, I think I react to this better, and sometimes I allowed myself to feel like this, like I think I have way more respect for my body as well. And yeah, like yeah, that's in general what I want to say, that this is why I'm sharing it very openly, and I feel kind of naked right now in front of everyone. But I was looking for athletes. I would like at night Google like athletes depression and stuff like that, to just hear, someone else's experience. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, it totally makes sense. I guess that the same part of your personality that makes you obsess about training can be a part of a personality that makes you obsess about something that, yeah, you want to
Yeah,
be getting away from.
exactly.
And was that part of what you spoke a lot about self belief and that being a bit of a hurdle in the past? Almost that like you belong
Yeah.
here, uh, and that is something that you can now hand on heart say that you have, right?
Um, that's another interesting thing, because it's, in my opinion, crazy that you achieve some level or some results once, like it's not years or whatever. I just got there, and I feel like, for example, my World Cup podium this year in Chengdu was in a lot of fans and in me as well, something like, yeah, this is what you should be able to do. And then I took step back and I said, like, oh, no, 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 if I'm thinking this way, and I'm like, I have already less joy, because I feel like, yeah, I got this level now, and now I only want more. This is again a thing that can put you at some moment into the in a hole, if you stop enjoying these things, like as hard as we train. So yeah, I've noticed that people started to expect from me more and more and more, and this is normal, and I did the same. But like now I'm just watching myself closely to like, of course, I'm gonna be ambition, I'm gonna be same person, but I just don't wanna skip this moment of joy, because I belong somewhere. Like, it's just sport, it's never guaranteed. And it's like, yeah, like I'm happy, lately I had the good races at World Series, but this is nothing guaranteed. And yeah, like, and definitely I still need to work on my belief. But yeah, I'm one of these athletes that, I need to prove myself something, like not once, twice, or three times, but like maybe if I would have like 2 years of consistent top 15 in World Series, I would say, like, oh yeah, I belong there. But yeah, that's not that healthy, but like, yeah, this is how I am.
And that sensation after the Olympics, where people talk about the post games depression and having put, this huge target on themselves. There's that thing, sport, particularly triathlon, needs those Olympic moments, right? That those are the things that propel
Yeah.
it into the. It's such a tough situation in terms of how much store you yourself can put into it and how you have to be with yourself coming out of it.
Yeah, it's definitely hard, even if you have a good result, I would say. But um, I don't know if this is one of these things that I think you need to experience, and it's hard to really prepare someone for that. And also, one of the things that I experienced at the Olympics was that I wasn't prepared for so much noise on the race course, and I think all of that emotions, what you just said around that. And I saw, like I talked during this podcast a lot about my coach. So, for example, even Paulo, that is always, like professional, calm, like he's always the same. Like I saw he's different, like a week going to the Olympics when I saw him last time in Vichy. And then at the Olympics, like he was looking and being different, so it already made me stress that I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like such a big event, and then everything around, and interviews and stuff in the TV that were getting to me, like, yeah, like since I'm a kid, I saw my dad watching all of that reports about athletes, and then randomly on my group chat with my parents, there is a video of my TV in the house, that I remember from childhood. My dad watching someone talking about his daughter. So, like, imagine, these emotions, like, it was huge, and I was nervous like never. Everyone was telling me that I look super stressed, and I was saying, like, I'm extremely stressed. Like, yeah, like, it was crazy. And to be honest, during the whole Olympic period, the moments that I kind of felt normal where when I saw Paulo and Miriam at one of the sessions at the pool, because normally we are not as a squad at Olympics. Everything needs to follow the schedule of thousand things and stuff. So it was pretty rare that we would be together. But that was like, oh, I'm safe for this one meal. I'm with Paula and Miriam, like how we spent, the whole almost year. So like I remember just a few moments that it was normal, but the rest was like so overwhelming. And with that, I wanna say that the last meters of running in Paris, everything just killed me in that moment. That it was like almost probably like, 300 meters, and I lost the power for sprinting and fighting for this last few positions, because we are like, it was like not real sprint finish, but like very close.
Mhm.
And I kind of had this moment of like, I just want to be on the finish. Like I couldn't fight, and this is another very open thing from myself, because athletes don't say stuff like that, because you are supposed to be this warrior that, like the crowd, everything is supposed to just push you like even harder. But for me, it was too much. Like I was the happiest in the world at that moment, but also I just feel I wasn't prepared for this much. And yeah, like talking about first Olympics, that it's different, that they are for experience, have another meaning to me right now, because I just really experience hard that, it's the best, the most amazing thing ever, but it still can, you still can be like overwhelmed with positive emotions, but they can really like, kill you. So yeah.
So that was okay. So that like an out of body experience or an out of race experience, and you were just somewhere completely different. And
Like I really don't know how to describe that. Like I was, like I said, the happiest person in the world, but in
hmm,
other hand, the emotions were like too strong and too many, that for probably on the finish line when I was laying down, I felt like some like empty, but in a positive way, like I don't know, maybe like I would be like on some substances that I never experienced, but I guess maybe it feels like this, that you're like in different world, just happy, but also like, wow,
hmm.
that's it. But yeah, yeah. It's still, it's still. I can't describe that with words, but I think you see how much I'm smiling when I think about that. So even if that sounded a bit negative, that I couldn't push anymore, for me, it's the most beautiful experience. Like I experience all of emotions that Olympics brings, and now I think I understand my teammates even more that are, like double and triple Olympians, because this is something like we both now can't even try to describe how you feel. It's just amazing. But like also one more thing, because you started with that, like for me, the athletes that are there and have not the day they wanted, but they still have this joy of just being Olympian, being there. This is what impresses me so much. Like I love it. Like I hope if in LA, thanks, like please God, bring me there to LA. If I have a bad race there, I hope I will still be like proud and happy, like oof, that would be amazing mental preparation if I can do that there, because it just one day anything can
Mm.
happen.
Yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, not a feeling I will ever have, but I can only imagine that I would think about like everything going back to maybe being 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, right? Those first moments that you ever thought about being a triathlete or.
I think that came to me later, with yeah, this is one thing in myself that I don't remember where I came from, like lately I had this situation very fresh in my mind after it was after Yokohama. I came back to Girona and we were riding with Seth and he asked me if I remember my first ride in Girona, where was that? And I said like, like a typical famous loop, like I'm saying like, oh, probably El Angels, somewhere there. And there are like technical descents. And he told me like, yeah, yeah, we went there. And another thing, and he said, and you were yelling at me to just leave you alone and not wait after descents. So, he just reminded me that it wasn't that long time ago that yeah, like I wouldn't like to ride with him because I hate the thought that I'm slowing someone down and that I wasn't skilly. And then I thought like, wow, and now actually it was after Yokohama or then after Alghero that I think like that's crazy how much I improved on the bike with skills and yeah. So I think after Olympics also people send me photos from my first triathlon and I remember how some girls were surprised like I don't remember if it was Cass or Kate, but we are similar age, but they are in triathlon like 8 to 10 years longer than me. So it was kind of shocking that I achieved this level pretty quick. And what I wanna say is that I didn't know that until they told me, like I think my mindset is like sometimes, like I said, kind of a robot. Like I'm here, I wanna go only better, and I wasn't appreciating myself enough, I guess, So yeah, the post-Olympic moment is the best to think like yeah, to look at your journey. The photo from Olympics that is like I think it should get award is like Mislavchak, Blumenfeld, Hayden, Alex, and there are like I will pass it to you. It's amazing. You see so many different stories on one photo. One is almost vomiting. The other one is it just became Olympic champion. The other one is like like still two of them are still running. Still like sprint finish. Another one is already happy, like the best photo I seen from Olympics, honestly. I
Oh,
will
wow.
pass it to
And
you.
was it
You
one of
need to
ours, do
have
you
a
know,
look.
or was it?
I don't know who took this photo, but it's crazy good. Like if you are a fan of triathlon and you know what is happening on this photo,
It's
amazing.
like the Last
Yeah,
Supper, but in triathlon form.
exactly.
Oh yeah, do
Exactly.
do
But
send
this
that
is what
through. That would
we
be cool.
yeah, and this is what we talk about that on that part. and just behind the finish line, you see crazy cool things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah.
Great. Well, really appreciate the time. Great to see
Thank
that you
you.
are smiling once again.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thanks for the time and yeah,
And so, who's going to win the men's world champs this year? Hauser in Wollongong?
Hauser.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say I hope, but I just feel like from what I know, because I don't know him since years, but I heard that he was one of these athletes that just had a lot of talent and maybe didn't work as hard as other people that don't have that much talent. But then there was the switch
Spark.
that
Yeah.
now the talent is at the same level as his hard work. So I kind of, yeah, like I kind of think that that would be amazing to see him winning. Yeah.
And it
And
was,
what he can do, because I don't think it's his best he can be. Like it's still probably a bit of room to improve.
and on the women's side, come on, just while you're here, if
Yeah,
you're not going to
so
be on the start list for a little while, you can open up on your predictions for the women's world champs.
okay, the final, like the general ranking.
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough, huh? Like I would need to think about that more, but I think it's still a fight between obviously Cass, Beth, Lisa, but I really believe in Jen. But like it's her decisions what she's doing, but sometimes I feel like maybe now she's racing too many things and not putting the full focus on World Series. But in other hand, I think she's good at being like this, a bit everywhere, like that. That also probably maybe what works for her. So yeah, like these three are kind of obvious for fans. So I'm gonna say Jean Leher on the top three.
Great
Yeah.
shout.
Yeah.
Great shout. Okay,
Yep.
well, Roxana, thank you so much. Good
Yeah,
luck
thank you.
with the next. Presumably, you've got another doctor's flipping appointment coming up, have you, and all of
Yeah.
that to go through.
Yeah,
So,
on Monday.
all right.
Say hi to Matt from me.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah. Bye
See you
bye.
soon. Bye.
Bye.